Now I've also got my Primaris challenge, the initial first set of Marines here on the table with me.
Woo! Welcome once again to another plastic-filled episode of the Throne of Angels video blog. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Derek Osborne, here to show you all yous peoples out there in the interwebs, a world in miniature. All Primaris this time, right? So I'm sure everybody who watches this channel knows what a Primaris Marine is, but just in case you don't, it is what the Space Marines should have always been, right? Bigger models as opposed to the little, man-sized models that they were traditionally, or they have traditionally been for years and years and years. But Primaris Marines, the evolution of the Space Marine for Warhammer 40,000. Now, how did this mess get started? Well, quite honestly, my friend John, who runs the Platypus Scotsman YouTube channel, which is mostly about tutorials for creating terrain, and it is some badass stuff. Link below, go check it out. He basically slid into my DMs. He was like, "Yo, Oz, what's up?" I said, "What's up, John?" And he's like, "Hey, we got a challenge going on." I was like, "Okay, cool. What is it?" And he's like, "Primaris." Dope, I'm in. So the boys out in Utah, the Geek Garage crew, they are doing a Primaris challenge. I think it's evolved to a Space Marine challenge, like I said previously. But Primaris challenge for Oz is what it's going to be. 5 models. Essentially, all of them have to be converted. And for those of you who've been watching the channel for any period of time, you know I love conversions, right? Conversions is my favorite part of the hobby. Basing in second, probably close second at times, but converting is absolutely my favorite thing to do in the hobby. So, obviously I jumped in both feet and grabbed a concrete block and sank to the bottom of the pool, because that's what I do. So I grabbed a bunch of models from my buddy Carlson and some other stuff that I had sitting around and came up with a concept, right? This concept was essentially born out of my hatred for space mutts. These guys, right? I cannot stand space wolves. I hate them. Hate everything about them. I've never liked them, and the more G-Dub does G-Dub things to them, the more I hate them. So with that hatred, right, I took that hatred and I balled it up and I let it maturate into something healthy called conversions. Sometimes I crack myself up, even though I'm the only one talking. But anyways, so my thought was this, okay? There's never been a quote-unquote renegade Space Wolf kind of official thing, right? The Space Wolves are supposed to be super good and they don't turn and not random bullshit, but then they've got the Wolfen who are, warp touch, but yeah, it's a thing, right? And again, like I said, I hate the Space Wolves, and it's not because Magnus did nothing wrong. And we can sit down at a later date and have a discussion about it, but the simple fact is I can't stand the chapter. Hated the Legion, can't stand the chapter. So why am I doing Space Wolves? Well, because I'm going to make them right and I'm going to make them chaos. Now, back in White Dwarf 468, they did an Index Astartes called the Wolf Spear. So, for those of you who have not read or don't know anything about the Wolf Spear, it came with a nice decal sheet and a decent amount of backstory. They actually threw in some rules, right? The Wolf Spear are a Primaris successor chapter to the Space Mutts. One of, the only, right? There are no peeled off second founding chapters of Space Mutts. There's no, random this, that, or the other thing. The Space Wolves basically are just Space Wolves, and they are very protective about any type of successor chapter and things that may tarnish who they are. But I'm tarnishing the hell out of them with this project. Now, with what I've got going on, essentially, there are 7 Jarldoms, right, that are basically what the Wolf Spear are. Great companies, essentially, but they're called Jarldoms instead of great companies. So, the Jarldoms are all in the Cicatrix, was it Maledictrum or something like that, the tear in space where, the basically where Abaddon squashed Cadia and 13th Black Crusade and this big rent and rip, and 40K guys know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about because I don't do a whole lot of 40K. Somebody feel free to correct me. But anyways, it is where warp space and real space kind of come together, and the Wolf Spear are in there doing their silent hunter thing and essentially fighting the good fight. Well, one of those Jarldoms is going to become my clan, right? Shadow Clan or the Shrouded Clan, or who the hell knows, right? The Blood Clan. I don't know yet. If you got some ideas, feel free to throw them in the comments below. But anyways, the point is really this. One of those great Jarldoms has fallen to the Blood God Khorne. That's right. That's right. They have succumbed to their anger and are basically turning slowly to the twisted forces of the Chaos God of anger and hate metal. Death metal? Black metal. I don't know. Anyways, lots of heavy metal music plays when that guy shows up. Anyways, I think I'm going to say anyways 8,000 times this video. That's the plan for what I've got going on. I've got 2 models complete of the first 5. I'm about 80% done with my captain, but he needs, like Squidmar would say, a grand reveal. So he's not going to be shown today. However, I'm going to show the twins. I did finish my 2 assault intercessors. From my list here, right? I've got this list right here. It's 5 models. I'm working on the Reaver currently, and the Interceptor will be next while I finish the Captain. So the Captain is in a space to where I've had to do a fair amount of green stuff to him, which is why I started him early, because I knew he was going to be essentially multi-part, multi-need side of this project, where the Assault Intercessor is pretty simple. Gave him some shields, some spears, and they're the only ones in the entire army that are actually going to have original Primaris helmets. Everybody else gets 3D printed helmets. I have a whole bag of them right here. Woo! Anyways, 3D printed helmets. Yep, good stuff. So I've got models, I've got a magazine, I've got a plan, and I got a book of reference. So my buddy Dave Taylor, you guys may or may not know him, but hopefully know who he is. He's actually doing this outstanding series, right? The Art of, and he's basically getting worldwide artists, right? Everybody from across the planet to contribute their work to his book series. And I've got a good portion of Dave's book series. I love the guy, and he puts together a quality product. Well, this is the Christoph, and because I'm American, I'm probably going to butcher his name, but Keel, right? That's how I would say it. Christoph Keel. This is his book, and this book is absolutely phenomenal when it comes to looking at reference material for kit bashing and conversions, right? I highly recommend picking it up. Probably throw a link in the comments so you guys can check it out and pick it up if you want to. But I would definitely say, when it comes to converting, you want to take some time, do some research, right? Thunderwolfen on Instagram has created a unique chapter called the Soul Hunters, and he's done a phenomenal amount of work, and I will reference some of the things that he's done in what I've got going on here, because I did spend a decent amount of time looking at his Primaris project, and it's freaking outstanding. I'll probably post a link to his Instagram in the comments as well. You should definitely go check out his work if you haven't seen it. It's amazing. He's done phenomenal stuff. Right now he's working on updating his Word Bearers Chaos Space Marines Force. So excited to see what he does there. But if you have some favorite conversion artists, guys who do, like mad kit bashing, throw some links in the comments. Love to see them. I love to see stuff that is done by other artists and things that really kind of spark my creative juices and get me really wanting to actually spend some time hacking up models. Now we're going to take a look. I'm actually going to put the camera on my workstation as opposed to on the table this time, and that will basically build out really quick just some of my concepts and ideas and show you guys how I kind of go through my process. So with that, let's jump to the table, take a quick look, and get this one up and done. And welcome to my desk. Most of you have seen this before, or at least I would assume so. I'm moving a light around. If you haven't, well, this is my top-down view of basically my painting station. This is where I do my cutting and painting and those things. So one of the caveats that I'll throw out to start out with when it comes to converting, you have to be willing to basically destroy models. And if you're not, I wouldn't jump into conversion. I would stick with quote unquote kit bashing, right? There's kind of a difference. Kit bashing is taking parts from different models and putting them together to get a new model, right? These guys are kit bashed. Are they converted? Not really. You know, basically I did cut bolters out of hands, or bolt pistols, or whatever the hell the Primaris bolt pistol is called, and then I drilled a hole, put a piece of rod in, and essentially added a spear from Stormcast Eternals, right? Let me see if I can get better lighting. I've got these great little magnetic lights. There we go. So, as you can see, my boys, these are Assault Intercessors. They are just standard, non-hacked up Assault Intercessors. Now they are roughly opposite in regards to their poses, but again, they are non-hacked up. Didn't really cut anything off of these guys other than their guns. I did, however, add, so he's actually got the arm and the shield from, I believe it is the Indominus Lieutenant, where this guy just has a shield, right? I actually did do some converting, more like cutting more bolt pistol stuff off with his right hand. Now again, these guys are the only ones that are going to have the standard, or have a G-dub based, yeah man, that light's just terrible. Sorry about that, guys. These are the only guys that are going to have essentially the Games Workshop helmets, and those Games Workshop helmets look like that. I really like these two, basically because this guy has one over his right eye, and this one has a viewfinder over his left one, if you will. Come on, focus, boy. There we go. So again, opposites. They do have cloaks or capes or whatever the hell you want to call them from Black Templars. I did have to cut these up quite a bit to get them actually to attach properly, but both of them are attached on the spear arm side, as well as, let's see, attachment on the spear arm side. So, you know, yeah, anyways. You'll see two Chaos Hounds here in the back. These guys are 3D prints for my captain. I am working on converting the backside of him to take that backpack and that arm, and that basically it's this model, right? I have a pair of these models. I have this one assembled just this size, so I can do size comparisons in regards to how the conversion is stacking up height-wise. Now, working on the Reaver, like I said, I've got essentially one of his legs cut off. I'm going to do just a simple repose with his leg. Again, as I said, if you're not willing to essentially hack up a model, don't start on conversion. Just start with kit bashing, right? Kit bashing is cool. It's easy to do. Little pin vise. I actually used, it's hobby time. So says my phone. I used a mechanical piece that I kickstarted. I've shown you guys in the past. This thing, the WOW stick, right? Basically, it's dope. I highly recommend it. If you don't have one, go get one. They're worth every penny. But drilled through the hands, mounted the spears, right? Shields, my two Assault Intercessors, the twins, the Reaver, pair dogs. So helmets, we'll take a look actually at the helmets next time, because I'll have those essentially set up on the Reaver and probably the Infiltrator. So with that, man, that's simple, it's easy, it's quick. Let's hit that wrap. The wrap. Woo! Okay. Well, we've got kind of a baseline of what I'm doing and where I'm going. This project obviously will be done fairly quickly because it's only 5 models, right? So 5 models. I got 2 done pretty quick. The captain, as I said, not going to see him yet, but he's the one that's going to take the most amount of time. As you can see, I'm hacking that Reaver to pieces, and the Intercessor will get sliced up as well. But when I just do some leg and arm swaps or essentially just update a pose. It really doesn't take me that long to get that done. So with that, I expect to have all of the models completed probably by the end of next week, and then I have to come up with a paint scheme, right? So it's going to be based off of the wolf spear. I don't know, because they're white and black, they kind of feel a little bit like white scars, to be honest with you, and I'm not sure I want to go there. So I may do something in a gray and a red. I may do something in a red and a white. I'm not sure. I have not honestly really given it a huge amount of thought yet, but I'll come up with something like I always do. However, this is going to be a long-term project. It's going to be something that's going to curtail, you know, for a few months. We're going to come back to it on a regular basis. Again, I don't play 40K, but I love to build armies for 40K. Hell, you never know. I might drag a Chaos Knight into this bad boy. I've actually been thinking about that for the last few days, and you know, pulling a Chaos Knight into this project as well. We will see. If I do, I'll probably 3D print something by one of the Patreons that I support. Might do a G-Dub kit with some Patreon support add-ons, you know, heads and arms and things of that nature. Don't know. Not even sure if it's going to happen, but we'll see. Now, for the most part, it's quick, it's simple, it's done. We're good, right? I think we are. Right. As always, thank you for joining me, and we will catch you in 2. Welcome once again to another, let's call it industrious Throne of Angels. Oops. Video blog. Alan, that was just for you. My buddy Wild Chevy says I like to slam hammers on tables. It's just one hammer and it's just one table.